What's going on, Dragon Brawlers? Scott Sedman here for Players Guild, bringing you a breakdown of the starter deck Sun Goku for Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. Let's get straight into it with the leader. Sun Goku, Saiyan Universe 7. He's got 15k base power like all of the leaders on the front side, and when attacking, draw a card. Awaken. When your life is 4 or less, draw a card and flip over into a Super Saiyan Son Goku, now with 20k power. Still got the when attacking, draw one card, but now he has Activate Battle. Once per turn, choose up to one of your battle cards. It gets 5k for the battle. So this can be used on offense or defense. It's really handy, especially if your opponent's swinging into your battle cards. Or if you don't want to combo from hand to get that extra plus 5k to maybe hit an Awakened leader. It's an awesome little effect. Really nice for a starter deck. Then we're moving on to the Skilless Packages. All of these starter decks from the first 4 will have a Skilless Package going from 1 to 4, with each additional energy getting 5k additional power. So as you can see, Tien is a 15k for 1 energy, Android 18 is a 2-drop 20k, Piccolo 3-drop 25k, and of course Frieza being a 4-drop 30k. The Tien and Frieza are from the trial decks because we don't have high quality images of them. But essentially they're going to be the same card. Maybe a reduced specified cost on the Frieza, not entirely sure. But that is it for you. You all have 10k power on that. Really handy, nice filler slots. Probably going to get swapped out once we get main set cards, to be honest. And the Super Combo. Now, this is it's got a slide of itself because this is a huge important card in deck building for Dragon Ball Super card game in general, whether you're playing Masters or Fusion. Well, let's talk about it. It's a 7 cost, 15k power. Realistically, you never want to be playing this card. You want to keep it in hand for its amazing auto effect. It's already a 10k combo, but if you combo it during your opponent's turn from your hand, it gets an additional 10k power. So this is not restricted to any life total. You can use this off the rip. If your opponent's swinging at you really hard, they've used an extra card, they're hitting you for 30k critical and you need to get out of it easily, this card is perfect for that. But that being said, Super Combo is limited to only 4 Super Combo cards per deck. It's not like you can put a Shin and a Videl in your deck, both at 4 copies. No, you are restricted to 4 of that Super Combo keyword across your deck. So that is just for the beginners there, because I think it's really important not to overlook how important this card and this keyword skill truly is. We'll also talk about it because it's a Shin. We have the Supreme Kai trait, which is interesting. That's a new trait for Fusion World, and Universe 7, which of course is referenced in Tournament Power. We're all from Universe 7 and we'd love to see it. We'll move on to the extra cards before we talk about the early and mid game cards. We've got the 1-drop, the Activate Battle. Choose your leader or up to one of your battle cards. It gets 15k power for the battle. It's nice. It's more than anything but a Super Combo can give. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 5k power. So if your opponent's battle card's attacking you, it can increase the differential. It's a nice little trick. If you want to KO, maybe they've got a 5k on board and they're swinging at you. It stops you It stops them comboing off with them. So there's like little nuances to this card. Overall, I don't rate it too much, but just for a starter deck card, I think it's good to have, especially if we're not going to be doing a lot with our energy early on in this game. By the sounds of it, like we might end up having energies open, and this is a good way to help get out of a sticky situation. But what I will talk about, and I do really like as an extra card, is this God Kamehameha. It's a 2 cost that can reduce down by 1. If you have no battle cards, which, if your opponents manage to control your board, or again, if you're early on, in your main, you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle card with 30k power or less and KO it. Just straight removal based on power. I love it. It doesn't matter their energy cost. It is just, oh, you're less than 30k. Cool, you're gone. You're gonzo. You're out of here. Also, something to note: extra cards do have traits in this game, so we're seeing that they both have saying. Uh, Whether that or not factors into effects down the line, I'm guessing they will, or else why would they do it? But it's still cool and something to worth noting nonetheless. Now let's talk about how you're going to play out this game with this deck. We've got the early game cards. So these are the cards with 1 or 2 energy with effects that I put on there. We've seen the Skillesses. You can mix those into your strategy if you want. But let's talk about the Roshi. It's a cantrip. It puts a body on board. It's up to you. He's an Earthling. It's worth noting. The Whis is a 5k, 10k combo, which is very nice. And then when you play it, you can choose an opponent's battle card. It gets minus 5k power. Might not seem much, but you know, it could help you swing into a card that's already attacked. If you're against Broly, which is of course getting ahead in energy before you, it might help level the playing field so you can swing with some bigger cards. But overall, it's a nice little niche card. It's also got the Angel trait, which is new to Fusion World. Then we go into our 2-drops. We've got Krillin, which I think is going to be pivotal to the deck. One thing you're going to be wanting to do is try and gun for your Awakening, I feel. Or at least let your opponent swing into you. If they don't swing into you, this is where this card comes in handy, because on play, you can add up to 1 life from your 1 card from your life to your hand. It's optional. You don't have to take the life, because that's what the add up to 1 means. But if your opponent's just stalling you out, this is one way to fight that and try and get some cards back into your hand. Get down to that 4 life and flip over into your awakened side. Also, in your turn, this guy gets a 5k boost. He's a 20k. He can hit most awakened leaders. Really solid, actually. I really like this. He can combo off for 10k. Really, really cool card. Don't underestimate Krillin. I think he's going to be really useful. Then we'll talk about the Vegeta crit. This is very much an early game. You want to be playing him as soon as you can to try and hit your opponent while they're unawakened. Force cards from their hand or field. Purely because they don't want to be taking that crit. Crit is a keyword. That means rather than card going from life to hand when you take the damage, it goes to the drop area. So denial of resources. It can be really strong. It combos for 10k, so as soon as your opponent's awakened, unless you're willing to commit your own cards to the combo, you might as well combo him off and charge him, in my opinion. I could be wrong. We'll see how it plays out. But overall, he is the defined article of playing him early, trying to get as much value out of him as you can. He has only got 1 specified red energy, so if you have him in open hand, you're going second, you can burn that energy marker, energy token, and just blast him out onto the field on your first turn. Try and get as much pressure as you can from that. Awesome card. See what you can do with it. Critical. Never underestimate critical. It's a very powerful keyword. Then we move into the mid game, which we're talking around 3 energy here. We've got Beerus, which is a God of Destruction, a new trait for Fusion World. You'll hear me say that quite a bit. There are some very cool new traits in this game. Normally it would just be God in Masters. All the like the Kais, the Angels, and the Gods of Destructions all kind of got clumped into gods. So it's nice to see God of Destruction being its own thing. Hopefully it means some more archetype builds down the line. But Beerus is a 3-drop 20k power with a 5k combo if needed. He's also a critical, so you're seeing this deck come into fruition where you can early game go in with Vegeta, and then in the mid game you can be hitting very nicely with the 20k Beerus, or you're forcing your opponent to deal with it, I should say. And on the attack, you can choose up to 1 of your other battle cards gets plus 5k. It's nice. I don't know too much how well this will come up, because once you're awakened, like, your opponent can easily just choose to swing into the battle cards and wipe them off the face of the earth. But we'll see. It could be potential for a really late game setup that I'll talk about in just a little bit. Now we'll talk to Android 17. Again, I really like this card due to the permanent. It gets 5k in your opponent's turn, so it's the opposite of Krillin in a way, where like Krillin is more advantageous in your turn, but this guy's already swinging at awakened power, and then forces your opponent to have to use some form of removal or commit cards to the combo to remove it in their turn. And, you know, so the staying power is really strong. And if you pair it with the Beerus, you can kind of see a little synergy there where you can try and push 25k with this Android 17 realistically. And then on play, of course, he has the add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. I think that's going to be an invaluable auto to have early on, at least in Fusion World. Self-Awakening is going to be very important. And now we get to the creme de la creme, the SRs of the deck. We've got Sun Gohan Adolescence at the 4 cost. He's another critical 25k power, so he's hitting Broly without any extra cards put into the combo. And when he attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 10k power for the turn. So this is what I mean with how you can sort of synergize with the Whis from earlier. You can swing with the Gohan, maybe minus 10k power off of something, and if they're weak enough, you can drop that Whis to just clear the board, and then you could swing with something else, like maybe the Beerus to power up the Whis. You know what I mean? There's little lines of play that you can see happening. I don't know how important this minusing power is going to be long term, but I think early within Fusion World, I think minusing power should not be overlooked. Overlooked is the right word, Scott. And then the big boss monster, the 0 combo power one. We'll talk about that in just a little second because I like how it balances the game out. 35k for 5 energy, double strike, meaning you're hitting for 2 damage instead of 1. And on play, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 20k for the turn. So removing some of the mid-tier threats, I would say. Boss monsters are relatively safe from this, but if you're playing the mirror match, you can potentially minus off the Gohan by just playing this and then playing Whis. Not the most energy optimal play, I will say, but it's possible. But also you could attack with a Gohan and then on your next turn, you attack with a Gohan and then play the Goku. That's a minus 30k power, which is removing almost everything bar boss monsters in the game at that point. So there are nuances to it, but I'll quickly talk on it having 0 combo power. So this basically means or incentivizes you not to run super powerful cards at like high quantities. So you aren't gonna run a bunch of good red SRs that are all 0 combo because you're gonna need that combo power down the line. Now, I'm not saying don't run these cards because they're definitely worth running. This guy can easily close out games. Or if your opponent's on 5 life, this is a great card to try and play, swing them down into that 3 life area because they're not going to want to do that. It's all about min-maxing in Dragon Ball, and like those kind of lines of play are what help you. But yeah, let me know if you have a favourite card from the starter deck. Are you going to be playing the red starter deck? Are you going to be at the Battle Hour? Because I will be alongside the Lookout and as well as Loki. We're all going to be there in good spirits, ready to talk about Masters, Fusion World, Card Fest. If you see us, come and say hi. I will say, if you have liked this video, guys, please leave a like. And Super Saiyan, smash that subscribe button because I'll be doing a breakdown of all of the decks as well as, drum roll, the main set, as we are now getting cards for that in English. I've been Scott Sedman. You can follow me on Twitter at Scott Sedman, and I'll see you next time.